Welcome, folks, to the Church Solutions Podcast. My name is Phil Thompson.
And I'm Steve Lacey.
Steve Lacey, how are you today in this wonderful day in Tucson, Arizona?
I am doing wonderful. Got at my home office here, all the windows open. Hopefully there's no leaf blowers start growing or anything like that. So it's my favorite time of the morning.
Yeah, mornings are very, very much my favorite time of the year here in Tucson. We're going to be, my family's going to be in Mission Beach, San Diego next week, and it will be chillier, but I still will enjoy the ocean. So I try not to miss me.
All right.
All right. Thanks for that enthusiasm. All right. So this is episode number 384 of the Church Solutions Podcast. We're a company that we've been involved with churches forever, and we do a lot of things besides tech stuff. We do streaming video and other things. And before we get to our special guest today, we have a little advertisement to say, and that is we have a webinar coming up on June 13th, and it's about hardware encoders. So this has to do with streaming video, and the official title is make sure you get that
Why
right.
choose a hardware encoder?
Now, why should I choose a hardware encoder? Why?
Yeah, we're going to get into it.
Oh, okay. All right.
As opposed to a software encoder, pros and cons each way.
So we do webinars every month.
Different things for different folks, or what is the saying?
Different strokes. Yeah. But
different strokes for different folks. Yeah.
All right. So George Herbert, who is really an expert on hardware encoders, is going to be with us as a guest. And so if you're interested in streaming video or hardware encoders, or maybe making a change, you should probably reserve your seat for this. Where should they go, Steve, to sign up for this free webinar?
Webinar.streamingchurch.tv.
Webinar.streamingchurch.tv. And by all means, sign up, and we'll have some Q&A afterwards. And so I think it will be a good deal. All right. So let's move on here. Our next guest is the Vice President of Business Development and Marketing for a company called ViewClix, which he co-founded. ViewClix, which we'll get into in a moment, is ViewClix Smart Frames are the easiest way for families to stay in touch with senior loved ones. I'm not too far away from that title. Actually, I guess I'm officially a senior, but let's not go there. So we'll talk about how this whole thing works. It's a very innovative device. We're going to be working with them here at streamingchurch.tv. Actually, we already are, but we're going to be debuting some things here in probably several weeks or a couple months. So please, everyone, welcome Dennis Rank as our guest today. Dennis, how are you?
Doing well. Hey, Phil. Hey, Steve. Thanks for having me on today.
It's a pleasure to have you on. You're up there in Portland, Oregon area?
Yep, just outside of Portland.
All right, good deal. It's a pretty area up there.
Yeah, it is.
So you guys reached out to us, but I have some experience in this world, and I have actually a mother-in-law that passed away not too long ago, but she was living in a retirement community when COVID hit, and they locked down the retirement community and cut off all communications. And we were scratching our head, my wife and I, and said, wow, we've got this Echo Show thing. Maybe we could stick an Echo Show with her. And it kind of worked, but it was not a great solution, because we could do video calls with her sometimes. Had some funny stories with that as well. But where ViewClix comes in, it sounds like it's a solution for this kind of scenario where you have a loved one, typically a senior that's not real tech savvy, either in their home or in a retirement community or wherever they may be. And you've got a family that is distant or not able to drop in all the time. This is a way to connect. So tell us more about what is ViewClix and how to get started.
Yeah, so ViewClix starts with my family story. And my grandfather, my grandma, they lived in Florida. We lived out in Oregon. And so previously we used Skype and those different ways to be able to video call with them. But as his dementia progressed, he just wasn't able to use a laptop anymore. And my grandma, he always did the technology for her, so it wasn't her cup of tea to be able to jump in and help. So we tried an iPad and we were surprised that that didn't work as well. And then, based off of our own family's experience, we knew that other families had to be experiencing the same difficulty of being able to share, connect, video call with their senior loved one, whether they're down the street or across the country. There just wasn't a good solution out there. And so, given Rob's background, my father, and my background, we just came together and we started ViewClix. And so we launched in 2017. And so since then, we've done millions of video calls, tens of millions of pictures shared. And so it's really the easiest way for families to stay in touch with their senior loved one. There's no training or know-how required for the technology. Once you get the frame set up, all features are remotely managed by friends and family. So it's hands off. There's nothing for them to do, nothing for them to mess up. And that really allows us to bring technology to a segment of the population that hasn't really been served all that much, whether they have dementia, Parkinson's, they have some type of physical or cognitive ailment, or they're just a little bit scared of technology because they've tried it and it just didn't work for them. They got frustrated. And so we're really there to serve those families and those seniors.
Yeah, that's great. I remember some of our video calls were saying, "Don't touch the screen. No, don't touch this." No, they touch the screen and there's, or we'd visit her and she goes, "Yeah, we enjoyed some of the pictures, but then there was this advertisements about,
Yeah.
this and that." And because I wasn't sure if that was my great granddaughter Peyton, or if that was, was that her riding the motorcycle? Like, no, Peyton's only, so yes, it was quite challenging. So when I learned of this thing, I was really excited about it. So I personally really have a heart for the seniors and really, just excited to be able to serve them.
So how does this thing work, Dennis? I mean, so it's a box, with a screen.
Yes, I got one over my shoulder right here so you can
Okay.
kind of see it. It's
Okay.
designed similar to a picture frame, like a digital picture frame, just with way more robust features than a digital picture frame. So it's plugged into the wall so they don't have to remember to charge it. And then once you get it connected to Wi-Fi, everything's remotely managed. So you can do pictures, video calls, you can send reminders, you can do group calls, you can do videos. It does weather updates. They can request a call if they'd like from it. So it's really tailored to the senior population. And so to be able to communicate with it, once you got the frame connected to Wi-Fi, you can communicate using our free ViewClix mobile app for Apple or Android, or you could use like a laptop or a tablet to be able to communicate with it too. So families have a lot of options to be able to share and connect with the frame.
Yeah. So just to clarify, and you have some, the senior is, they're not required to have an app or a computer or anything like that. It's the, what would you call them? What do you call them?
We call them the frame organizer. So the frame organizer, as far as the senior, to answer their question, they don't need an email, they don't need a phone number, they don't need a landline. They just need the ViewClix frame and an internet connection. 99% of the time, that's Wi-Fi. Some people do an Ethernet cable with the frame as well, just up to them. And then the family, they'll have their ViewClix account, which they'll be able to sign into the app or to the website to be able to share with the frame. And then we have our share list. And so that's one thing about ViewClix is we're really focused on privacy. So only approved family and friends who are on the share list are able to communicate with the frame. So that means there's no spam calls, there's no advertisements like you mentioned. All video calls are encrypted end to end and they're never recorded. So we're really focused on that family privacy aspect and just bringing families together.
Now, I was going to ask about that, I'm glad you clarified that with the security part, because, what happens if, hello, I'm with the FBI. Please give us your social security number and your bank account. I mean,
exactly. And that's a big issue with seniors these days. As scams gets more and more elaborate. They use AI, they change voices, they spoof phone numbers, things like that. It's really scary for seniors out there. And a lot of the time, that's why seniors push back against technology, because they've had friends who have been scammed thousands of dollars, things like that. And so rather than risk it, they say, hey, that's fine. I don't really need that technology. But with ViewClix, they don't have to worry about it. The family manages who can connect with the frame. The family manages the sleep cycle of the frame. So when it turns off at night and turns back on in the morning. So, you know, if someone's in a different timeline and they just screw up and they try to call grandma at midnight, they're not going to be able to get through to the frame. So they'll get a notification, hey, your frame's in sleep mode. It's midnight there, so you can't call them. So we're really focused on that privacy aspect and just bringing those families together.
How do I set this up? And I'm sorry, Steve, I said you were going to ask most of the questions, but let me ask a quick one here and I'll
Well,
turn it
that's
over to
where
you.
I was going to go. Yeah. Go ahead.
Well, so I don't have any seniors. I've outlived everybody, but I do have a sister actually who is actually quite older than I am. She's 84 and she's fine. You know, she's alert and everything else. But if I were going to get one of these for her down the road a ways, what's the process? I send it to her. And I mean, what's the biggest challenge that she might have? Would it be connecting Wi-Fi? Just briefly tell me.
Yeah, so how the process works is you go to our website, viewclix.com. In the top right-hand corner, you click the Buy Now button, and we walk you through the purchase process. During the purchase process, you're going to set up your ViewClix account and password at the same time. So this is what you use to log into the ViewClix app and the member portal. And then when we ship the frame's already preloaded to your ViewClix account. So setup just involves unpacking the frame, plugging it in, and getting it connected to Wi-Fi. Getting it connected to Wi-Fi is really the biggest hurdle. Now, it's simple, like you'd connect a phone where you select the network and enter the password, but we do recommend having someone there to get the frame with that initial connection. But then once it's connected, everything is remotely managed. She doesn't have to do anything on the frame.
So when I order it, and I live in Arizona, and my mother or mother-in-law or grandmother lives in Nebraska or something, I'd have the unit shipped to Nebraska, and she'd receive it, and I'd let her know that, hey, this isn't coming, and have somebody there to, okay. And
Yep,
then,
exactly. So some families ship it directly to them because they'll have someone there that's like, hey, it takes 5 minutes to set up. And if they're at a care facility, at a community, sometimes they'll have a maintenance person or a network person there to help them set up. And because it's just a matter of getting it connected to Wi-Fi, they're always open to being able to help. Or, you know, some people, they like to ship it to themselves first, plug it in at home, see how the system works themselves, and then they'll take it over to their seniors' residence. So it really just depends on your family situation. But either way, it's really easy to set up and get going.
so once I have my ViewClix account, well, when I ordered the device, I created my account. So I go to the portal and log in.
Yep.
And that's kind of that's the command center. So if I want to have a brother in Texas, how do they get involved? How would I?
Yep.
What
Yep.
happens
So
there?
you log into the member portal, or you could do this on the app as well. But there's a button that just says share list. You'll click into the share list. You enter your brother's first and last name and email address, and then hit send. Then he's going to get a welcome email from ViewClix saying you've invited him to share with this frame, and then he'll be able to set up his ViewClix account and password. So everyone gets their own ViewClix account and password. And that way you can add and remove people as needed. So let's say someone's email got compromised, you can just easily go in and delete their email off the list, and then they won't have access.
Okay,
You
so
as
the
the main
person.
administrator.
Yep, exactly. That's the frame organizer.
Yeah.
Okay.
So if somebody's trying to persuade grandma to give all her money to them, pretty devious, right?
That would be pretty devious, but I mean, you know, for us, that's not a big issue because that frame organizer, only people they approved have been, you know, added to the share list. So They could go in if there is something nefarious, and they can within 2 seconds remove that person's access from the frame.
Okay.
Okay. And so if I want to make a call to grandma, I'll go to the app or this other device and just click initiate a call, or how's that
Yep.
work?
Yep, exactly. So what you'll do is you'll log into the app or the member portal, so like your laptop, and when you're logged in, you'll see a button that says make a video call. We also have a group call button too that you can use if you're doing a group call. And so you'll click make a video call. Now, the default mode for our frames is auto answer. And so how auto answer works, it's entirely hands-free for the senior, so they don't have to do anything. You'd start the video call, the frame rings to announce the call, and then the call automatically starts and you're there and having a conversation. So there's nothing for them to mess up. There's no links to click. They don't need to launch their camera, make sure their microphone's turned on, all those kind of things that you normally have to go through with video calls. It automatically starts for them. Now,
go ahead.
if
I've
your
got a
senior
question.
wants a little bit more control, you can disable auto answer too. And that would just be done by the frame organizer, that same person who manages the frame. So when auto answer is turned off, you'll initiate the video call. The frame will ring to announce the call and show who's calling on the screen. And then they'll press any button on the ViewClix remote to accept the call. So still really simple and straightforward, but just gives an extra layer if their senior wants that.
So a couple of questions before we get into how streamingchurch.tv is going to be involved in this. And we need to do that here pretty soon. But two things. One is, if I'm going to make a video call to my elderly sister, what am I using? I mean, we're using Zoom right now for this podcast. So what's the platform I use to connect with?
So you'll use, yep, that's a great question. So you'll use the ViewClix app, or you'll use our website member portal. So you're using the ViewClix's interface to video call with the frame.
Okay. And then the other question I had was, what if they're hearing impaired, like I am? What is there a way they can adjust the volume, or is there some kind of a earplug they can plug into the box or something?
Yeah, so what's great, we just launched our new frames in February of this year. And so what we did was we put 2 front forward facing speakers on the frame. So they point right at them, they're loud. So it's really a great solution for those hard of hearing. Obviously, some are just so hard of hearing that no matter how loud we make it, we could make it a rock concert and they still wouldn't be able to hear. But with our front facing speakers, that's one of the things we designed with our E-Series frames, is that it's going to be really loud for the senior.
Okay, but there's no plug. They can't plug something in.
No, they can't plug anything in. No,
right.
Not at this time. We might down the road do Bluetooth, but we don't have that functionality right now, just because sometimes with Bluetooth, you get some latency with the voice and the mouth movements. And when you're dealing with someone with dementia, when their voice and their mouth doesn't line up, it can be really disorienting. And so that's one of the hurdles that we just have to jump through.
All right. So let's talk about why Streaming Church is talking with the ViewClix guys. What's planned on the horizon here? What are we working on?
Yeah, absolutely. So I reached out to you guys because I saw what you guys are doing. The reason why I reached out was because currently you're able to do YouTube live streams on the ViewClix frame. So the family can go in, add a live stream to the frame, and then play it for them. Well, what we found was lots of our families are doing church services with that live stream functionality through YouTube. And so what we really wanted to do was find a partner who was like you guys, already working with churches, had your network of churches. And then so what we're doing is we're integrating with streamingchurches.tv to be able to stream those services.
Yeah, so there's so it's an added feature, if I understand correctly, where I can make a video call, I can push a note to the frame, which is another feature where I want to, I found you can also set recurring things. You can say, at 6 p.m., have a note come up saying, time to take your pills or whatever it may be, time for this, time for that, and it'll automatically come every day. So this would be another option, would be from the family member would be able to choose a church service and have it broadcast on the view frame. Is that?
Yep, exactly. So what they'll be able to do is they'll be able to pick their church, pick the service, and then they can schedule it to play during the week at certain times. So if there's mass every 10 a.m. on Wednesday, they'll be able to stream that church service every 10 a.m. on Wednesday will automatically start for the senior. So it's really simple, and functionality wise, there's nothing that the senior needs to do. So we're really excited about that, just because it fits another need that we've heard. Excuse me. It fits another need that we've just heard from our families that we're excited to deliver.
Yeah. Is there, on the senior side, is there an option to mute things or not, or how's that work?
What do you mean mute? As far as like
We get
or...
the service is coming on, and I'm watching the service or whatever, a YouTube video or a video call, and someone walks in the room and I want to, can they mute the screen?
Sure, with the remote they can do some volume control with the video playback, so they can turn the volume down on the frame, so that's no problem. But if you just want, a lot of our families, we have a remote to add some more functionality for those who, hey, they want to go in and scroll through their pictures, look at the shared videos, maybe look at the forecast real quick. They can all do that with the ViewClix remote. But a lot of our families, after that initial setup to Wi-Fi, they'll just put the remote away for the senior and then manage the frame entirely for them.
Yeah, that kind of makes sense. So you guys send a test unit to us, to me, actually, to my home, and I've been actually playing with it a little bit. And it's kind of neat that it's. I had a friend that came to my house, and I was explaining it to him, and I explained it similar to the way you did. I said, it's like a digital picture frame. So what it looks like on the counter, it's actually, we have another digital picture frame where I put it nearby with it. And it looks a lot like a digital picture frame, but it's got a whole lot more. And I started to show him some of the, I can go make a video call, and I can push. We had set up the weather to come on. I think on the hour, so it will give the 5-day forecast or something like that.
Yep, exactly.
And then I went into the app and chose all the photos that I wanted to have cycle through.
Yeah.
So, and I could do things, it was kind of neat. I could do things like set the duration of how long the photos show up, and that sort of thing. So it was really cool.
Yeah, and the photos are really fun. We hear great things about, a lot of people come to us for the video calling. But they say, I came to you guys for the video calling, but my mom just loves the photos too. And she's constantly saying, hey, can you send more photos? Let me see more photos, please, more photos, more photos. And so they'll sit there and watch the photos all day. And so that's really fun to hear. And then we actually just launched a new feature called Photo Chat, which we're really excited about. It takes our video calling and the photos and kind of blends them together perfectly. So with photos, probably you remember back in the old days, you'd open up a photo album and you'd sit and look at those photos together. So it's the same premise. So you'll go to your photos, select the photos you'd like to talk about, and then launch a video call. And so that really provides a lot of interaction for the families as well. And you can have those deep conversations. You can upload old photos, new photos, tell me about your wedding photos, that sort of thing. So it's really fun.
So during the video call, the photos appear, and rather than, if I'm the family member, rather than my picture, the photos would appear for them, and you talk about, or appear for both of us, I guess.
Yep. So they appear for both of you, and there's a right and left, so you can cycle back and forth through the photos. You'll see the captions there. So what we've heard a lot of families do is they almost use it like a brain game with their senior. So they'll upload a bunch of old timey photos, weddings, anniversaries, that sort of thing. And then they'll get on the call and they'll talk about those memories together. So you really get those heart to heart, deep conversations. You know, it's tough for a lot of families. It's what did you do today? What'd you eat? How's the weather? That sort of thing. But with photo chat, it really gets you to dive down deep to talk about the photos. If you just went on vacation, hey, let me show you about this beach that we just went to. So it really builds that connection with the family. It lets them see and hear kind of what's going on in your life.
That's amazing. That's really awesome. So you're working with this wonderful company called streamingchurch.tv. I'm self-glossing here. But so any church that has a streaming account with streamingchurch.tv, and that happens to be the church that the person that has the ViewClix box has either been to in the past or is interested in, they can see a service that's being streamed through our company. And when is this? I know you guys have been working on this for a while behind the scenes, but any idea when this actually might manifest?
Yeah, we're hopeful in the next month or so. You know, things can change as we do some final coding and tweaking and making sure things are perfect. But we're really excited. So any church that streams their services through streamingchurches.tv, they're going to be able to stream that service directly to the ViewClix frame, and they'll be able to schedule those services, which we think is really important, and really gives a leg up for you guys as far as what they do on YouTube. Because with YouTube, you can't schedule a recurring live stream, but with streamingchurches.tv, you can schedule every Sunday. That mass at 10 a.m. will pop up for them. So they'll really be able to set it and then just enjoy it.
Yeah.
So let's talk, if I go to viewclix.com, let's talk about cost. How much is the device, and is there a recurring fee, or how's that work?
Yep. So we have two different models of frames. We have a larger version, which is we call our 15E. It's 15.6 inches diagonal, similar to how you'd measure a TV. And then we have our ViewClix 10E, which is 10.1 inches diagonal. The 15-inch is $299, and then the 10-inch is $199. Now, they both have the same functionality. It really just depends on where you're going to place the frame for your senior. So the large screen, it's more popular because you're dealing with seniors. So if you're going to place the frame across from where your senior sits, then the 15-inch is the best option for you. But some people need a smaller footprint. They just might be putting it on a coffee table next to a favorite chair. So that 10-inch one is a perfect solution. It's sleek and compact for them. And so we have so it's $299 for the 15, $199 for the 10. And then we have our Premier membership, which for video calling, sharing videos, weather, basically all the functionality with the frame is $9.95 a month. And that's just one membership per frame. So everyone on your share list is able to use that membership with the frame. And then on top of that Premier membership, what comes with that is our Premier warranty. So what that means is for as long as your membership is active, your frame's going to be covered under warranty. And we do free accident repairs with that too. So if an accident happens, someone knocks over the frame, it gets broken, you can send it into ViewClix and we'll repair it for free.
Okay. As I involve my family members, I assume they can also share their own photos to the frame as well, right? Do I, as the administrator, as the key ViewClix guy, do I get to see what they're sharing as well, or?
Yep.
Okay.
So you'll manage the slideshow. So you'll go in there. You know, some people are a lot more interactive and they manage the slideshow weekly. Some people do it a couple times per year. But when you add someone to the share list, then they have the ability to use all the features. Now, they can't go in and mess with the frame settings like sleep and things like that. That's reserved for the frame organizer. But they'll be able to add photos. They can add videos. And then you can go in and say, hey, it's time to refresh the slideshow. Let me move some photos into a storage album and then put some new photos in there.
Awesome. Okay. Good deal. All right. So we're running out of time here. Our guest has been Dennis Rank. And Dennis is the VP of Business Development and Marketing and co-founder of ViewClix. So how can people get a hold of you, Dennis, if they want to have questions or want to explore this a little more?
Absolutely. So you can email us directly, and that email address is info@viewclix.com, or you can call our 800 number, which is 800-304-4281.
All right,
But let's
super.
spell ViewClix for them because it's not.
Yes,
Go
it
ahead
is.
and do that.
ViewClix.
All
Yeah.
right,
So
great.
just like it sounds, but it's instead of the CKS, it's X.
Yes. Yep.
So,
Yep. It's an X at the end.
All right,
yeah.
good deal. All right, good. So, and of course, anybody, if you want to just, you don't get all that or whatever, you just want to reach out to streamingchurch.tv, you can reach us anytime at streamingchurch.tv, chat with us or leave a message or email us or call us, whatever. So, all right, good. Well, Dennis, this has been great. We're excited to be working with you guys. We definitely think this is a great
Likewise.
product. Yeah. Awesome. Okay. All right, good. All right. Well, we're done here.
Sounds good. Sorry, it's my allergies. I woke up and it just kicked in today. It's pollen season here, so I apologize for coughing. I tried to mute my mic when I was coughing, so I'm so sorry.
It's allergy season every day for me. And I live in the desert, and it's just the way it is now. But
Yeah, I
people
took
used
some
to,
out. I was like, I woke up and I could just feel it in my eyes, and I was like, not today of the day. So I took some allergy medicine, but so I'm sorry about
that's
that.
all right. No worries. Many people used to run to Tucson to escape their allergies, and fortunately,
Yeah.
they brought their plants with them.
Ah.
So anyhow, all right, good. All right, well, we're done here, folks. If you haven't subscribed to the Church Solutions podcast, I encourage you to do that wherever you get your podcast, and give us a rating if you can do that. And check us out online at streamingchurch.tv. There's resources and things that we're going to be doing. We will let everybody know when this whole adventure with ViewClix actually manifests, and we're involved. We'll let everybody know about that as well. So again, Dennis, thank you so much for your time today.
Thanks, guys.
Thank you, Steve.
All right, glad to be here, and thank you, Dennis. It's always good that we've been exchanging emails and stuff, and it's always good to sit face to face.
Absolutely. We're excited to get this done. So hopefully we'll follow up next week with the beta. And then we'll kind of dive into that, get some of your feedback too. That would be great. And we'll hammer on it for a bit to make sure it's stable and everything like that. I'm sure we'll find some bugs. That's just how it goes. But then once we wrap the beta up, we'll kind of put our heads together as far as marketing, press releases, emails, kind of everything like that. So probably, I think we should probably start working on that. Once we get to the beta, then we should probably start, talking about, what we want to do for marketing, things like that. That way, when it's live, we're ready to just push it out into the wild.
There you
All
go.
right, sounds
All right,
good.
and we will let our people know. So thank you, folks, most of all, for watching or listening to the Church Solutions podcast. Please take care of yourselves and each other. I'm Phil Thompson. Have yourselves a great day.